Good morning, March 29th. Um, the end of the quarter. I know we have one more day on the calendar or whatever, but we're gonna look at these candles as if all the work has been put in. And I think for the most part, uh it has. I saw a couple of candles that are still full, so they might go a little further. And if that's the case, then maybe we can do some adjustments. But I'm gonna go over here and reset my list. A lot of these pairs will probably find their way back on the list. All right, the last few weeks, we've been talking about time frame correlation, and today is just an extension or an example of how we would use our time frame correlation to do our analysis. Especially now. When we're ending the quarter out, we're ending the month out. If you are one that's taking notes, I believe we're closing the 3 week candle, we're closing the 2 week candle. So a lot of candles are closing. Um, and I'm sure there are many questions, when it comes to that. So if you have a question, um, make sure you ask so we can kind of try to take care of everybody, at the same time. Um, Whenever I'm analyzing the market, uh, I really want to go with the highest closed candle. That's what works for me. I'm not saying it's the only way to do things. I know it's not the only way to do things. Um, but it's my way of doing things. I'm gonna start with the highest closed candle. And in this case, I know we got one more date, but we're just gonna pretend here that y'all's president managed to pull out a bearish quarterly candle in a bull market. So if this was closed, and it will be, in a couple of days. What's today? Tomorrow's the 30th. Monday's the 31st. I just want to make sure because this says 2 days on it. I don't know why we have 2 days on it. Okay, we got 30th, the 31st, and then Tuesday will definitely be the first. All right, so for all intents and purposes, we're gonna call this candle done. And I'm gonna fib this candle. We'll make adjustments if need be tomorrow. Tomorrow, which is when I say tomorrow, I mean Monday. Um, Golden zone 78. Now I can delete the fib. All right, at this point, I would go to the 4 hour. Looking for my imbalance, preferably in my zone. Uh, when I say in my zone, I'm not just talking about the golden zone. I'm talking about the entire area. So, um, in this case, I know from basically the top wicks of this candle to about right here, that's basically an imbalance. From here to here is really the 4 hour imbalance, but there you can see imbalance from here to the top, or from here to here, and then from here to here. There's imbalance above this candle to this point. Um, so there's a high likelihood that price is going to come all the way up to the 62. But if we are buying this back up, we have to understand that this is a counter trend trade. And if I'm you, I'm going to treat it as a counter trend trade by taking my profit, at the earliest uh, opportunity instead of trying to get the last drop. So, you have to manage your trade the way you manage your trade, but that's basically the way it is. If we squeeze this chart in, we can see this was a pullback. The market takes off, goes all the way up here. Now it's basically a pullback, right? Um, the interesting thing, if I go to this daily chart and I'm looking where this market pulled back and pushed up, if I'm looking for where this drop is coming to, I can just put the gray on the daily, the top of the daily high right here, where we broke structure. There's a daily high right there where we broke structure. The market falls right down there to it. Ding. So, um, if you watch the ICT mentorship series, I say this 1,000 times. 2022, um, slide 3. You don't even have to listen to it. You can just put that slide on that 2-minute chart, and you'll see the same thing. And once you're able to see this, um, everything changes. So the market comes down, we break structure, we push up, right? The market comes back to that broken structure. The market comes up here, we break structure. Come down, the market comes to this level. Come up here, pull back, we break structure. Market comes down to this level. Over and over. You see the same thing over and over. So if you look for it, you're going to see it every time. And to me, it's big time if you understand where you can trade that pullback to, right? Then you can come up with a strategy or a method to where you can take advantage of these pullbacks. And I know this is the NAS 100, and I don't want anybody to think I'm suggesting that you counter trend trade the NAS, but y'all know from trading with me, I trade pairs. Once in a blue moon, I'll catch a gold, or I'll catch something that's not a pair, right? Something that moves faster than pairs. But this same concept and these same things that I'm pointing out on this chart are on all of the pair charts. It's the same. So yeah, I am trading counter trend, relatively easily. This could be a 1 week move, and this could be a 1 week move on a pair, and you can catch both ways, and you know exactly where you're TPing. So if you just go and you do your back testing and you look for yourself, um, I'm sure you're going to notice that when you get those breaks of structure and that market pulls back, it's pulling right back to that old daily level. And now that you have um, a order block to work with, right? And the candle closes, we understand that the price needs to trade back up into the zone, right? And we marked the level that we wanted to get out of the trade, and I labeled it, right? You guys have to label on your chart, put the labels on your chart. So on this 3-month candle, it's a bearish order block. So we know the market is going to sell. But first, it needs to pull back into the order block and sell from here, right? And we discussed it'll probably come up to the 62, but we can take our profit right here, or at the very least, you can have a sell limit right here, and you can leave your buy open and hit your sell limit. If price pushes up to the 62, you can take your profit, and then the sale will kick into effect. However you come up with doing it, it's perfectly fine. But for all intents and purposes, I'm trying to mesh these time frames together for you. The 3-month gives you a bearish order block, which says is a sell. But on the lower time frames, we expect price to buy up first and then sell. So with that in mind, now that I know the 3-month is um y'all help me out. 3-month is a sell. I got to drop down to lower time frames, and I got to see when it starts to buy. Now I know we have one more day left in the candle, and I know because you know Ish is nice enough to post the order blocks. I know in this weekly we got a bearish OB, a bearish OB. All right. which is fitting. But what I look at, if I looked at this and I'm going to this daily, I know where we are. I know we tapped into this imbalance. I know we can tap a little bit further in if we wanted to. But more importantly, if this needs to buy, common sense to me says, I want to see you push down and take some liquidity, which is below these lows, right? So I want to see it push down first, then turn around and buy. And chances are, it's exactly what's going to happen because we got one more day left Monday on this 3-month candle. So if we look at that 3-month candle for NASDAQ, it's possible to push down past this wick and then buy back up, creating a bigger wick. Does that make sense? So I think that's a pretty realistic thing that we're going to see. Now, if I go further in this analysis, right? If I'm looking, I see the market was here. I see we pushed up and we pulled back, right? On this push up, we ran this high. There was a bearish order block. The structure here is drop, base, drop, base, drop, base, drop, right? So the market pushes up. We basically run this base. That was your market structure shift, your chalk, whatever y'all want to call it this week. So that's the market confirming what we actually think, right? Or what we're thinking as far as the market needs to buy up. This is just me kind of tying the time frames together over different time frames. I expect the market to buy up because we're getting a 3-month bearish order block. The market basically confirms this to me, right? Now I'll be looking for an entry. However, you choose to look for entries, whatever your criteria is for an entry. Okay. Maybe you say, man, Todd, all this is bearish. All I see is bearish. I can't enter on that. Okay, that's cool. I mean, on the lower time frames, when this market turns around, after the candle closes tomorrow, or even before it closes tomorrow, it's probably going to turn around and start buying up because it has to have a wick, or it doesn't have to, but most candles are going to have a wick on them. So by you knowing that alone, maybe it does push down for 6 hours, or maybe it pushes down for 2 hours or 4 hours. And then the rest of the daily candle, it starts to buy up. That's going to be your key, right? So maybe on the 4-hour chart, you get this sort of thing. And then the market rolls out. That's the same thing that we're talking about. So I'm not saying that you have to hop in the trade as soon as it takes out this low. You could, but or you can wait for the lower time frames, 4-hour, 6-hour, 1 hour, whatever. You can wait for the lower time frames to give you structure, right? This classic double bottom push up past the old high, whatever, it's going to have high candles in here. It's going to break the highs of these candles, and then it's going to pull back. That will be your chalk on the 4-hour time frame. So now when it pulls back, you have your entry. It's based on higher time frame theory that the price is going to pull back up. But on the lower time frames, you actually have your chalk, and this thing is ready to buy. Then you can get in this trade, and you can hold that bad boy until it gets to your buy target. Does that make sense? Anybody confused? Right, over right. Okay, so let's talk about this actual sell. All right. So if this is your your buy leg for these 3 months. There's a couple of different ways you can do this. If I'm looking at this leg as it pushing up and now it's going to pull back, here's my golden zone. There's my 78. I see imbalance. So depending on your level of understanding, you can find your target. You can drop down to the 4-hour the same way we do it. Find your target in here. You can drop down and get the daily break to find where this thing is going. I know this is scary because this is the NASDAQ. If I'm trading on this drop, I'm not worried about trying to trade it to as far as it could go per se. When I drop down here on my 4-hour, I'll have plenty of targets right here in this zone. All these imbalances, none of them were ever filled. The market just hum ho and it got out of Dodge, right? So you have several targets that you can chase that are in your zone, right? And the thing is, if you get into this sell trade up here where you're supposed to get into the sell trade, bro, you have plenty of room, right? And if you're not trading your P&L, if you're just trading the charts, you'll go over here and you'll find your imbalance, right? We know we're going to get reactions from these imbalances. And you'll take your profit. You can take your profit at this imbalance instead of trying to get to this imbalance, right? If you're saying, oh man, I got 1,000 more points I can get out of this after you already got 4,000 points. So you as a trader, you have to understand that nobody is becoming a millionaire in one trade, right? One trade is not going to make your trading career. So once you trade your target down into that zone, of course, it's going to give you chalk, before it just turns and burns. It's not like it's going to come down there and just go straight up. You're going to get a chalk move the same way we talked about that we're going to get to buy up here at some point. You're going to get a chalk move on those lower time frames. So if you can read market structure, then you'll know when it's time to close out of that trade way down yonder somewhere, right? Are there any questions over that analysis? Everybody understand the concept? Okay. All right.
Yep.
That was an easy one. What I want to do is let y'all do it with y'all's chart. So my thought process behind this is if I do all this and I mark it on my chart, that's cool. But it ain't helping you. When you open your chart is still gonna be your chart. So if anybody wants to mark the analysis on their chart, right, with pairs that you actually trade, um, we can do that. You don't have to have fancy time frames. You can use the 3 month. You can use the basic packages. Is basically what I'm saying. And you can mark your chart. We can do it right now um, while you have help if you want to do it. Any volunteers? Bueller?
Hey, hey, Todd. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, I'm switching from my cell phone to my laptop. There was some questions I had some on my markups,
Okay.
and I'm just getting to it right now. I just need like 5 minutes though, but I definitely want to do it.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Anybody else? Bro, y'all kill me. So everybody's an expert at doing this.
I'll do a top, but I gotta get my computer.
I do
No, don't do it. That's the one I want to do.
Okay, you want to do EA?
Yeah, because I marked it up.
Hey, that's cool. That's cool. I want to do it.
Hold on. I
Oh,
marked it up, and then you made a comment about what did you say?
I don't want to talk about it. I'm waiting for you to do your thug this.
Okay, hold on. I'm logging in from my computer too. Okay, I'm on my computer. Hold on.
You say you on your computer now?
Yeah, is my audio better?
Yeah, because you cut your phone off.
Yeah, hold on. I'm trying to minimize my screen so I can get back to my chart.
Hey, Leandro, I agree with Andrew. Not even close.
Oh, they won't let me share. You cannot share.
Well, yeah, I'm sure. Hold on. Let me because I'm sharing. Let me close my share.
Oh, my bad.
Go ahead.
Okay, can you see it?
Hmm.
All right, so I'm just gonna go to the 3 month because I haven't looked at it. So the 3 month doesn't give me enough information, or I don't know what to do with the information. It's not an order block. So then I drop down to the 1 month and I see the order block's about to close on Monday. So I think yesterday I was a little confused, but I think what I hear you saying or what I think I'm doing wrong here with my markup is that I need to do this and let it run the highs. Look for the turnaround on the lower time frame and then trade it down.
No, I want you to analyze. I don't want you to. I want you to just analyze this for us. Like
Okay.
however you do it.
Okay, so let's mark up the monthly since it's a order block and let's assume that it's closed just like this.
Okay.
So I'm gonna fib the monthly candle. And what I like to do is show where like, what am I doing? So it would be a monthly order block. All right. So then
I
I'm
wish
gonna
I could
mark
be
up
this organized.
so now I'm gonna mark up my zone. That's my 50%. My monthly golden zone. And then I'm also going to get my monthly 78. So now I can delete my fib because I have everything that I need from it. Let me find it. So my fib is gone. You can see I marked up the monthly golden zone, the high of the monthly candle, the low of the monthly candle, and the 78.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm probably going to drop down to like, just because I saw this previously, I'm going to drop down to the 3 week. And
But
so
if you
that I
didn't see
have,
it, if you didn't see it previously, you would have did it.
no, I would have went to probably like the weekly or the daily just to see what's happening more near term. But
Mm-hmm.
this is more like a sanity check because see, I had this 3 week order block marked up too.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my bullish OP. And it did do what I was looking for, which was run the highs.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm expecting it to pull back.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was also a 2 week order block at some point. Yeah, way down here.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I adjusted the 2 week to the 3 week when it happened.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't mark anything. I'm just looking on the weekly. I see that we kind of got some consolidation happening, which aligns with the monthly closing
Mm-hmm.
and the need to run the highs before we sell down. So I'm just walking down through the time frames. And so on the daily, to get my chalk, I would have wanted to see it break this low right here. I
Mm-hmm.
don't see it. So that's consistent with the likelihood it may push up some more. All right. So at this point, I'm probably looking, since I don't already have chalk or market structure shift, I'm probably gonna wait. Um, and what I'm waiting for, because I know that the monthly high is here, I'm likely waiting for it to buy up as high as it's gonna buy up. I do have an order block. I'm sorry, an imbalance marked up right here. Let me see which imbalance that is. It's a 14-hour imbalance. Because on these lower time frames, you do have chop. So I've got an imbalance right here on the 14-hour that if I weren't looking to run the highs on the monthly,
Mm-hmm.
that's where I was. That's where I was trying to get in down here. And then I was trying to cover this high. But I think that's a trade that I probably would have ended up in a hedge in because of the monthly. So now this is my trade. And TP1 would be somewhere around here and somewhere down here. But I would wait for it to get up here and take the highs for EA.
And where do you rank this trade setup?
It's actually, well, it was my number one because for me, this is a form of chalk, right? It breaks this low, then it continues with the break, then it starts to pull back. But with the monthly closing, I have to look at this a little bit differently. And this could just be inducement. And so I'm going to wait for this same type of activity up here somewhere. And then I'll be able to adjust my entry and my stop loss. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. And I struggle with believing this is your number one trade setup. I,
Oh, it's
I,
not? Oh, I lied. There was some other ones. EC and
well,
G.
here's what I mean. And I'm not trying to get you off your heel if you love that trade. Um, all I'm saying is to me, there are three or four that are more clear than that setup. I think
I'm a, go ahead.
I think there are some that are like just they are order blocks. Um, like G, U, or EU. They're bearish order blocks. They tapped in. All they need to do is sell. So,
Yeah,
for you to say that EA is your number one trade setup is like an eyebrow raiser for me. Um,
really.
and kind of that's what I like in our group when I try to pick the top three, I'm trying to pick the three big people. Like I keep saying it like that, but I need to find a different the three that are easy. If you're going to commit a robbery or if you're going to get in a fight, I'm going to get in a fight with the person that has no threat of knocking me out. You know what I'm saying? I'm not fighting the grown man. I want to fight the little kid where I can win. It's not because I want to be able to beat up the little kid. I don't want the grown person to hurt me. You know what I'm saying? So if I want to take a trade, I'll take the trade that I know is not going to take my money. I don't want to take a trade that could go either way and I lose my money. That's all I'm saying.
So I guess I'm confused. So like for GU, it's not my top because I was already in GU. I sat in GU for 11 days and caught 60 pips on my demo. I was like, I'm never trading GU again in my life.
Okay, but I get that. But let's talk about this for a minute.
9 days.
Let's talk about it. Go to the daily. Go to the daily chart. What is happening with GU right now?
It's consolidated.
Yeah, we call it consolidate. The market that's Wyckoff is turning around.
Sure.
It like the market doesn't just go to a spot and go to go to the next spot. It has to get there, turn around, right? Then you're going to get a push down and a pullback, and boom, we off to the races. All we're doing now is why are we consolidating? Because we're at the end of the quarter, right? We're at this is at the top. If you look at the 3-month candle, the 3-month chart, it shows you that it's a bearish order block. And price bought back up for those last 3 months and tapped right into your zone. So if you had fibbed that bearish candle and you would have got your zone, price came back into your zone. Same with EU. So all I'm saying is that there's time and price rules everything. Once it's time for this thing to take off, it'll move. Like it didn't have any problem moving down those previous 3 months. It moved straight down. And I suspect that the same thing will happen once we get the new candle.
So what this shows me, based on what you just said, is my entry was good. It's still good.
Your patience is
I
just
was early. Yeah.
yeah.
My patience is not good. And that's true. And that's, yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And this is a perfect example of when I say we can control our entry, our stop loss, and take profit. We can't control the time that it takes for it to get there. Now, you could have entered after you saw the chalk on the daily, right? Or whatever. You could have entered then, and maybe that would have helped you. But I don't have a problem with if it takes a while or not, if you're in the right trade. Because if you're in, let's just say you're in this trade, that means you're taking no losses. For the last 11 days, you ain't lost.
I think it was 9. I miscounted, but yeah. I was in profit and I had let it pull back. Like I was in more profit when it was down here. Then it started to pull back. And then I was like, oh my gosh, this is the same thing as EJ. Let me get out.
No,
And so I took my profits.
oh, that's hilarious. But I'm gonna go back to that EA trade because I think something this is what's weird to me. Okay. You have two zones on this chart, right?
Mhm.
Does that confuse you?
Like, why is this way up here?
I mean, yeah. Like, is that's not confusing?
I mean, I guess I look at it like how you say there's always going to be a lower imbalance. Like there's imbalance here, there's imbalance here. So I guess
But
it's like
okay, so but go if you use the top candle that closed,
the top candle that closed, like
the
this.
3 month candle. Let's say the 3 month
Oh,
candle is closed.
okay.
So if you fib this candle,
I wouldn't do that.
well, therein lies the problem. But
Because it's not an order block. I just wouldn't
I
know
get it, but
to
it's
do that.
listen, uh, every candle, you expect this. There's a set behavior or expected behavior that the market does. It's not the market doesn't just pull back when an order block is created. Every candle when it opens up, um, it should try to reach the top wick of the previous candle. Where's the top wick of the there you go. And that would be healthy price action. So if you feel that's right in the middle of your zone, right?
Right.
That's what really should happen on every candle. Every candle should reach back. We know it doesn't. When the market expands and goes away, that's how you get the imbalances. But you know, if you fib that candle, it's going to give you um a good judge of the area that price should pull back to. Now you're using a 1 month candle, which is cool. It's going to give you your 100 pips.
Right.
And I'm not trying to discourage that because it works. If you use the 1 month, it works. But what I'm saying is we have a bigger advantage because a bigger candle close or it will close.
I
So it
got you.
gives us a bigger advantage. I want to take full advantage. I don't want to take advantage of the 1 month candle.
Okay. So are you saying GU has a 3-month order book? It had one,
It,
and
it had one.
we're about to. Okay. This is helpful information.
Yeah, I think EU is to me a better than GU, but you
But
know,
it went up higher.
yeah. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I had this one marked up too. I just didn't take it.
But if you go did you go, is this the daily? Go to the daily real fast and squeeze it together. Do you see your chalk on this one?
Yeah, this one has like confirmed chalk because we got
Well,
one break here and we got one here
so
on the
listen,
daily.
well, that one up high is all you need.
Oh, wait. Okay, thanks. I
So
like
listen,
it.
but this is my pet peeve. Like you see this chalk is clear, right?
Yeah.
This has everything that you asked for, and then you tell me the EA is the best setup. You know what I'm saying? Like that's to me is mind-boggling. Like this is much better. It's a clear, you can see everything clearly on this, in my opinion. You
Yeah,
don't agree with that?
no, you're absolutely right, Todd.
So why would you give yourself a headache trying to trade EA if this one is giving you everything you want to see?
I mean, you're right, Todd. I'm not. I think what's frustrating for me is that I did think EA was a good setup, and I knew what I was waiting for. I knew what I was looking for. So to me, maybe it's the way I define good setup. For me, it's what can I see it, right? It's not can Todd see it. Todd can see all of it. Can I see it? And I didn't know to go back and look at EU from the perspective you just pointed out. So I'm kind of disappointed in myself that I didn't know to do that.
Well, I don't think you need to be disappointed. I'm just trying to approach this with the same approach. I'm always going to look at the last biggest time frame close, and I'm going to see if I can see anything from that time frame. And in this time frame, it gave me a bearish order block with a tap in, both GU and EU, but EU tapped in to the 78. So if I'm taking a short, I can get more pips from the 78 than I can from the 50. That was my personal logic, and now I'll just wait to see if it's going to pull to that imbalance. before it starts to sell. We don't have to make any decisions immediately. I'm just looking at the setups, if it's a good setup or not. Kind of the way I looked at UJ at the end of December. I knew UJ was going to sell. Now UJ didn't sell and make a bearish order block. Like I would have sworn that at the end of December. But I didn't know about the tariff plan either. So, I would have probably assumed that these were going to be bullish order blocks because I would have thought the dollar was going to be headed to the carpet. I didn't know we was going to start trade wars with our friends.
This has been enlightening. Thank you.
All righty.
I'm gonna stop sharing so somebody else can go. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Mhm.
Anybody else?
Well, I marked up pairs that y'all already did. So if you want to look at mine or not. I did GU, EU, and
What's your best pair?
I like EU, GU, and then GCAD. I mean, you did GCAD, so I marked that one up.
You said I
But
did GCAD?
Say it again.
You said I did GCAD?
Yeah, went over GCAD.
When? Oh, yesterday, you mean?
Yeah, it was yesterday. Yeah. So I
Hey,
picked that paper up.
we done had 29 people on it. I mean, we don't have to do it, guys, but like this is an opportunity for you to
Oh, well, I don't know whether you want to see the same pair again. So
listen, I don't mind. Like I know we will have the same pair. All I'm saying is
okay.
my charts will be fine. I see it the way I see it. I mark it on my charts.
I mean,
You guys, and maybe not necessarily you, Kai. I don't, I think you're fine when it comes to markups, but I'm convinced that not everybody sees it. I think there are more people who are confused looking at multiple time frames than we're talking about. And
did
the
you look?
fact that nobody wants to share is just kind of weird.
Do you want Dylan to go? Because I think he said he was ready.
Yeah, whoever.
I was going to jump in here and ask Kai if you could go, because I feel like it's always helpful to see the repetition, but then also just to kind of get your insight into how you pick your pairs, because you're nailing EU and GU. So I'm just curious to get into your brain a little bit.
I'm trying to see where I can share. I think this is my Discord. I'm gonna share Discord.
One thing I am, this group is kind of funny because y'all sit on this information like y'all buttoned up, but
Wait, what you mean, Todd?
well, I've always known black folks to be a little gossipy, but when I asked y'all to share y'all's charts, y'all like, no, y'all are buttoned up.
Maybe they're gossipy and shy. Maybe people are shy
Yeah.
and nobody wants to get hit with the darts that come from talking and thinking out loud in front of 29 people.
Darts, come on. Bro, I'm not judging nobody. Like who am I to judge? I'm not, nobody dubbed me as a trading expert. I'm not that.
Except you are.
We all we got is each other, y'all. We ain't nobody coming to save us.
I don't think I do anything different than what Todd did. I flipped the candle, mark the 78 right here, go to zone.
I guess my question would be, why did you choose EU? Was it just already on your radar, or
I
like
chose
how did you choose EU out of 50 million pairs?
because of the order block.
The 3 month.
Block, and it came all the way back. It didn't come off. Did it come all the way to the 78? Let me see. Because of this bearish order block, it took out the low and then bought up.
Mm-hmm.
And
Now you're going with the trend.
then it came to, well, almost to the 78. Then I see in this shift here on the daily time frame. And then I usually just mark up after this shift happened. Right here. And I mark up this, this is the institutional candle. I know Todd don't fool with the institutional candle.
It's not
But-
that it's not that I don't believe in institutional candle. I just, you say tomato, I say tomato.
Yeah,
Whatever
so I
works
usually
for
just
you.
mark this the last up candle for the down move that broke the structure and comes back up here. This is where I usually take my entry. And then I cover my stop loss above the green institutional candle. So kind of big stop loss, but I'm sure we'll be into them 4 hours somewhere and tone it down. So let's take this. I'm not trading it up. I don't need this anymore.
Kai, do you set alerts or you just wake up for every?
Oh
Sure.
yeah, I definitely set alerts.
Mhm.
But most of the time I'm just going to get up on the session I want to get in at.
So where would you set your alert on this one?
I will set mine in this area here. Let me see. I'll set one right here, but I don't want to get up when it's time to get in. I'm setting it maybe 20 pips or so before
Below.
I want to get in. Right. So
Okay.
I got I put alerts all up and through here.
Okay, that's helpful.
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of times I feel like some of the times it usually come up to here. Like, if it's up here, I'm getting in immediately. I'm getting it immediately. If it comes up here to the institutional candle body, I'm getting it immediately. I don't know about anybody else.
Can I say something real quick? About okay, I know how y'all looking at where you see where she said the where to get in at and the blue line, where that blue line is.
The institutional candle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that order block up there. Okay, so you know how those two red candles meet on the close and the open?
Yep.
Yes, that is, if you go back and back test, you'll see that that's a great entry for when you're looking at like like where to enter or where price usually comes to before it continues to wherever it's going to go.
Mhm.
If y'all look at that, y'all gonna be like, oh wow, like that's why I noticed and I learned. So I just want to point that out.
Gracias.
Yeah.
And how do you know that?
How do I know what? Oh, you're talking about talking to
Who said that? Like the
TT,
open and
he
close,
talking to you, TT.
I studied it.
right?
I studied it over the past year.
that's my markup for GCAD. Same thing. And GU.
So wait, go back to GCAD.
GCAD.
I like GCAD. That's what I had marked up for my 2 months. GCAD.
So TT, are you describing the two red candles right here by her blue line where it says imbalance? Those two where they meet? Is that what you're talking about? That
Right.
same link up right there?
Yep, that's a good
Yeah.
a more accurate like entry to get you to make sure like
You don't miss it.
I would say is yeah, you got it right. It's basically that. But say it doesn't come right to that, like it'll come in those candles right smack in the middle.
Mhm. Sometimes it only hit the institutional candle and go. That's why I like to set my alerts all up into here. So try not to miss it.
Can you break this down?
I believe this was a 3-month candle too, right? Let me see. Yeah. So I'll flip this candle here, this green candle.
And okay,
This one.
when you fib, it don't bother you to fib with the big wick on the bottom of the candle?
Right here?
I'm asking because I think I don't want to assume, but I think Kenya had a problem with fibbing one candle because it had that big wick. Is that right?
No, don't be putting Kenya on that.
Okay, well,
If anything, I don't like not fibbing order blocks. I've
Okay,
gotten
order
burned
block,
by
okay.
just fibbing big candles.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was order.
No, I just do it from wick to wick. And here's the 78. And then golden zone here. Uh, and then we have the market structure shift here and here. And I mark this institutional candle, the last up candle before this immediate down move. That's my entry right here. Right at the bottom of the imbalance. I think it's imbalance on like the 4 hours.
How many pips does that drop?
478 to the, oh wait. Oh, this is the imbalance. I put it at the top of the imbalance, but if you
Yeah, I agree with the top. I don't have to be
golden
greedy.
zone is 465 to the imbalance is 79. True call.
Can you go to the monthly on GCAD?
Sorry, that was me.
Take off this all this stuff. Set the monthly.
Yeah. Okay, and then go back to the 3 month for me real quick, please. So Todd, why wouldn't you want to? I know the 3 month is about to close. So for the sake of the conversation, let's say it's already closed. So I have this same, if not very similar markup, but it's the same for GCAD, ECAD, EA, EN, I think, where I'm not letting the high get cleared on this 3 month candle before selling it down. So when do you know, how do you know when to let it clear the high after it has formed the order block, and when you go ahead and start looking for the structure
Okay.
before it clears the high?
That's a decent question. So you see how much wick is on this kind of for one. And then when you drop down, if you look at the monthly, go back to the monthly.
Take off this stuff off so you can see it.
Okay, now go to the weekly. Okay, for me, you see how you have that small candle in between? We have the gravestone doji, then you got that small candle, which in essence is a bearish order block,
Right.
right? So can there be liquidity taken? Yes. It could go above that small candle to take liquidity and push down. It doesn't have to go violate the very top of this candle. It's all about liquidity. Markets run off liquidity. So if there's a level of liquidity that can be taken, then you have to go by the level of liquidity. Whenever we're looking at the 2-week chart or the 3-week chart, many times there is no liquidity. It's just that wick. Does that make sense?
Say that one more time, please. I'm sorry.
Okay. Many times when we're down on those lower time frames, right? When 1-week candle closes or the 2-week candle closes, the only liquidity to be taken is from the top of that particular candle that closes. You're looking at a quarterly candle close. So you have to look inside that candle to see if there's any liquidity that can be ran to support the move, down or whatever. In this case, it's a down move. But if it was an up move, it would be the same thing. So it's not just about that candle wick being taken out every time. How many pips is it from where price is now to the top of that wick? 250 pips. So tomorrow, when I say tomorrow, I mean Monday, you're going to get a move. Maybe this move moves us closer to that wick, and then on Tuesday we go up and take out that high. That's entirely possible. I don't find it probable in this case, but it's possible.
Okay, so sorry for cutting you. That is what I wanted to say. If you go back to the weekly time frame, whose chart is this?
I'll go back.
Correct. So you can see we traded back into this fair value gap. So there is a possibility we can also just go up and take the high before you can be seen like a sell or something.
But the first level of liquidity is above the high of that red small candle.
Correct. This is the fair level of liquidity. And again, this is where the price pull back from into this fair
Yes.
value gap, which means, every candle highs are liquidity, right?
Yes.
So we can take this and decide to do whatever we want to do, and we can just trade it higher and take the overall high because that is where the price came back from.
That is true.
Into the value gap. But you can literally see this because you are in the weekly time frame. If you go to the 4 hour, 4 hour will tell you, okay, what is next on this, right?
Is that okay? Can you see it good right here?
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the last level that we pull back from. And you can see we closed above this level right now, which means now we are looking, higher prices or something. You can target this high, or this high. But it depends on your entry. This is a fair value gap. And I don't know how you enter. For me, right? If price come here like this, I want to go down lower, but not so much, to see if there is another confirmation telling me that, okay, price wants to go higher. Because you cannot just take a price like this when you see price is creating lower lows to the downside. I mean, we broke this level to the upside, yes. So I want to be looking for higher prices, but I need to go down either the 1 hour or 15 minutes max, nothing more than that, to see if price wants to continue going higher from here.
And I think that high that I circled is going. I think this high is probably going to get ran. But I think we have to wait until Monday, because Monday is the official close, right? It's kind of hard to try to anticipate, but this high to me is probably likely to get ran.
Go to the daily. Let me see the daily time frame. All right. It's just going to buy from Monday up. We
Exactly.
don't know where it's going to buy to, but for sure.
So are you deciding this based on what PD array is near current price as well as market structure based on a specific time frame to decide which, liquidity
PDRA,
trying to go
yes, yes.
Exactly.
And of course, once price traded into your PDRA, then you have to look for what, like what is telling you that price wants to move away from that PDRA. That's the only thing you can act on, because if price is not showing you like anything, that means that PDRA probably is not going to hold. So what does price do from one PDRA to another PDRA, right? So once price traded into your PDRA, which is your point of interest, so you want to be looking for some certain kind of structure, or whatever you see, like I say, then if you see that, automatically that's what price is going to do, and it has to be at the right time, right? So if you are not sure, you can also just go down to the next time frame to see like a confirmation if actually it's going to move away or not. But yeah, but for what I'm seeing is going to buy.
And that's based on the 3-month candle or where you're here down on these lower time frames on the daily and you said the 4 hour.
3 months is going to close in what? 1 day, right?
Okay, but you're saying it's gonna
So
buy this.
basically, what I'm saying, right? If this 3 months is going to close in 1 day, right? So if we are going to see like a down price or something, I still believe that first week of April, price is going to be bullish. Then we will see sell after then.
Could you explain what PD array is making you think that? Because right now it just looks like it's in a downtrend on this.
What makes you think that is the downtrend? Okay, wait, hold on. This right here is the last low, right? Did you close above this low either ways? Let's just say this candle right here. Did you close above below this candle? I mean,
No.
So-
Yeah, it closed above 8.
did it close below it?
No.
I say below because it's below the bodies.
Oh, okay.
And Kenya,
Traded
you're
below it.
1,000% correct. If you go to the line chart
It
You
will
take your
show that
line
it's
chart.
below.
You
Yeah.
don't have to ask any questions. This is why I encourage everybody to use a line chart.
Right. In the line chart, yes, it did close below it, but in the candlestick chart, it did not, right? So like everybody has their own way, right? If you go back to the weekly, what does the weekly shows you? Are you seeing anything like bearish movement?
No, you're right.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
So I mean, the higher time frame, so that means this only came back to rebalance this inefficiency, right? So we're probably trading away. Of course, this price might be
It
wanting
is
to
chop.
sell.
It's chop
If
on
you
the
go
daily.
back to your left side, this side, yeah, open your chart very well. And go back to the higher time frame. I think it was the monthly or the 3 months. I don't know which one it was. Probably the 3 months.
Mm.
I think it was the
Is
3
it?
months.
This is the monthly. Oh, you want to see 3
Yeah, go
months?
back to the 3 months.
Yeah.
All right. So you see, this is the area where price is rejecting from, right? You have a fair value gap right here. I'm not saying like probably this price is just going to trade into this fair value gap before we start selling. It could happen, but I'm usually looking at something like that. Right here, let me show you something. When we broke this high, right? Did we came back into this area?
Yeah.
And this was the next area of liquidity. This area, we traded above this high, so we're now rejecting this area. So if you go back to the monthly again,
Yeah.
and this was a high that we just broke. Back to the weekly, right? This area is very valid, like the way you marked out, but before we can start coming there, then we probably, because this is where we are right now, so this is what you are focused on. What price is going to do in this fair value gap. If price is disrespecting this fair value gap, yes. So whenever I see a candle like this, like what type of this candle right here, this little candle,
So you can see it. Is
yeah,
that better?
this red candle, right? Two things. Basically, it's just one thing, right? Expansion, because this is accumulation. So the next thing you're supposed to see is an expansion, right? So expansion can come in two ways. Either a traditional power of three, which is a manipulation and distribution to the upside, because we need to manipulate this candle. Either we manipulate it to the downside and distribute to the upside, or we just distribute either down or up. You cannot control that. Once you see a candle like this, two things. First, number one is expansion. It could come straightly just by expanding to the downside or to the upside. We cannot control that. This is accumulation phase, and the next phase is distribution, which is expansion, either to the downside or to the upside. That is one. Number two is we have this candle right here as a what? Accumulation phase. How does power of three work? Accumulation, manipulation, then distribution. Either accumulation, manipulation, or distribution. So in this case, you can see typically what did we do? We have a fair value gap. This candle right here traded into this fair value gap. But what is this? Still accumulation, which means we needed to manipulate this candle, then tap in more into this fair value gap, then to distribute to the upside. If you go back to what? The daily or the 4 hour? I think it was the 4 hour. Just by knowing, like, of course, this are our narrative, right? So you can see this is the last little high, boom, down. then you can see we broke above that high right now, which means this is just a confirmation that price is like, of course, he wants to go higher more. Right here is the fair value gap. This is a fair value gap. And it all depends on you. You know, some people will say this is the last area or something. And for me, I can just mark this area out like this. And I'm just looking, just like the way price is right now, for me to take this price higher. This is a lot of pips. I don't know how many pips to the upside anyway, but I know it's a lot of pips. You can just wait for one more confirmation before you enter this trade.
Where it is now.
Price can just, you know,
But you-
accumulate
you buy
during
it.
the session and manipulate, then start buying higher. It depends, because price will always give you that setup you are looking for during Asia session or prior to London session, because this is like GBP CAD. So either move in New York or London session. That is the only time you can find the setup in this trade.
You don't think you could buy up Monday and then Tuesday and then sell Wednesday or sell Tuesday?
Something like this. But I know the very first days of this week, even if we are going to sell, we'll see higher prices. I don't know to where, but for sure.
Yeah.
This is a setting for sure.
Well,
But I don't know to where, like I say, but
So
we
just
should be
up
seeing higher prices before they sell.
So here's what I would do. Because it's clearly a daily chalk to the downside.
Yeah.
On the chalk, when it pushes down, it's going to pull back. So if you're wanting to know where you're going to get your sell from, right? You get your push down, you get your pullback. To me, this is a protected high. That's a protected high. So because of the chalk, we did run that. The line chart did confirm that. So the way I'm trading this, because the line chart confirmed that as a chalk, is there's going to be a pullback. You can use your fib to go to the area to look for your 1 hour imbalance. As a matter of fact, just throw the fib on, please.
And what? Throw the fib?
Throw the fib on that down move.
Yeah. Can we go to the 1 hour?
Yeah, go to the 1 hour.
Do I have more than one fib on here?
So right where you have your sell entry is basically the imbalance. Where's the 50%? I can't read your
50% is yellow, so it's right here.
so okay, so that's above, that's in between the 50 and the 78.
This is yeah, right?
Yeah. I mean I don't disagree with that. Now I do believe we're going higher, but I believe we're going higher to your zone. If any level would have got ran, I would have thought it would be that double high right there. But
yeah,
looking at this, I don't think it'll get ran. Because of the market structure shift.
no, this is what high that I was like basing it on like
Yeah.
the fib.
Yeah, I agree 1,000%. But to me, you did it on a lower time frame. For me, the line chart, like once the daily gives me the chalk, I'm cool with taking the trade.
Yeah.
So that's how I would look at that. And you know, if it does, like if this blasts through that area, like Andrew was saying, then obviously you don't take the trade. And I agree that we're going to get another update. I think the Monday is going to tell the truth. So if this setup is blast through that area and it doesn't push down on Monday, or it doesn't respect that area on Monday, then you have to go back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
And also I believe that, you know, if you're waiting to get your trade set up until the first like if you're not in that market on that Monday or that Sunday, the setups kind of show themselves more clearly later on in the week. I've never taken a trade at the first of the month and was confused on the direction because there's so many great opportunities. If you ever find yourself like if you're looking at a trade and you're like, I don't know, then you're probably looking at the wrong trade.
Okay, that's all I have. I think I look at EU already. I'll let somebody else share.
Dealing.
Hey, Todd.
You gonna share?
Sorry.
So you gonna share?
Yes, sir. Get to it. Where's that thing at? I like to share screen. Here we go. Okay. Can you see it?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Villa is sharing the best pair.
Oh, no. This is not my best pair.
Andrew said it is the best pair. Andrew said it's the best pair.
Oh, it is the best pair. Yeah, this was one of the ones, so I'll go to my best pair, but this is one of the ones I was going to ask you a question on this initially. Just because, but you guys kind of went over it. Where I was going with this, the question I had with this was a lot of times when I mark out my chart and everything and say if I don't see anything above or below, like for a good long while, like you can see here, I kind of am like dissuaded to like really do anything with that.
Well, I think this kind of goes back to the question I was asked before. Like, there is no chalk on this. Like,
yeah,
this is not even pressing them lows.
Yeah.
To me, this is this is totally different. This is the opposite of the last one that we looked at. Everything is bullish on this chart. So I can't even begin to try to look at a sell, even though I wouldn't trade it higher. I'm not buying at the high, but I can't consider the sell until we get some downward action. And this is an example of a pair I would expect to, at some point, Monday trade down to give a wick at the top of this candle. Like go to the 3 months and see where we are in the 3 month.
Okay. Good. That's where I was thinking too. Like, that's why I was like, oh, I'm not super in love with this. I'm not even going to make it something that I'm really looking at.
Yeah. So, I mean, to me, there's a bunch of different things that can happen. Like we could run the high over here. We could just trade north and pull back a little bit, and then the next candle, like Tuesday, can go up and take out. There are a number of things. There's nothing happened on the daily that says that this is pulling back.
Yeah. And I put look for a sell from this because I was like, oh, I would like to see it sell down. Another reason why I wasn't too excited about it. I was like, it's a lot of wick down here, and that's even on a 3 month. So I was just like, there's nothing. So I was asking you about it because it was just a quick question. Like, yeah, Ty, I'm not super in love with this. Are my reasons correct for this? Like, it wasn't really telling to me.
Well, I think it is telling. It's going up. Like that.
Oh, so you're looking.
Well, if you think about the rest of those pairs that we looked at, that like they've chalked, they've changed directions. This has done nothing. This is just going up. Can you put that marking back on there, Andrew? The other one too. That's the area that I would look for the change of direction. I mean, and it's kind of clear to me to see that because there's not like on the daily, it's just going higher.
Mhm. Okay. And
Now,
I didn't.
if
I'm
you
sorry.
are if you are our ICT fan, you kind of look at this right here as an area of relative equal highs, and you kind of expect price to go into that area.
Mhm.
You know, but I'm where you are as a trader, I would look for the easier setups. And many times for a newer person, it's going to start with the order block. So a trade setup like this, I'm not saying you can't trade it, but it's probably not going to be your strongest opportunity.
Oh no, I didn't even want to trade it because it didn't have it just wasn't, like I said, it wasn't a lot to it. Already you have like highlighted like what to look out for, and that's kind of what I was looking for from this one. Before you start saying pick your favorite pair, like let me see your breakdown. I was just like, man, like I don't even know where to begin with this. Like,
Well, but when it gets up there, it's gonna be a great opportunity because if you go to you have a 3 week chart. Yeah,
yeah.
hit the 3 week chart. Because you have that order block area that it's going to come back to, but I mean that might be 200 pips from now. I don't know how many pips it is up there to that
When I mark
high,
it out,
huh?
oh, you talking about that other one that we saw on the 3 month?
Yeah, I mean it's what is it, 100 pips, 200 pips? I don't, how many pips is it to that level?
From price to you saying what here?
Yeah, 271,
Yeah, something like that. Yep.
300 pips. Yeah, so um yeah, I think it's going to push for a minute.
Mhm.
Maybe it'll just have one of those incredible days. Sometimes GA just get out of Dodge.
Mhm. Yeah. And then can I go over my other ones before I get to my favorites? Just so I think I had a question on a couple more charts
Mm-hmm.
too. Okay. It's kind of like the same question. I saw let's get to this. And forgive me, I don't know why I have the 1 month. I did everything else on the 3 months, so I don't know why I have the 1 month. So I saw, I'll just tell you my thinking, right? So I had marked it up on the monthly, didn't mean to do that, but there may have been a reason why. So I'm gonna just check. I probably that was a pretty good candle for the monthly and see what it looks like on the 3 month. Okay. Dang, I really should have did it. Kicking myself. All right. Okay. So my question on this one, and this is before we all started grouping, right? I mean, before we started talking on this earlier, but I was looking at, okay, like in this situation, I would be looking for a sell, trying to see like entry wise though, where I would go for the sell. Like
Well,
I see that,
you can't you can't possibly know your sell entry right now. First of
yeah.
all, the candle hasn't closed on
The
the
monthly.
monthly, you know,
Mhm.
but I see your setup and I don't mind your setup, but like what if tomorrow the market buys up past your imbalance, your daily imbalance?
Mhm.
Then what do you do? How like does that change your expectation or your thought process?
Yeah, it would. Because then I gotta like refib everything, go back and like start almost like a whole new chart, you know?
Okay, so bring this like kind of zoom out a little bit.
Okay. Is that okay?
Squeeze it in one more time.
Okay.
Okay. So you expected to sell from that daily imbalance.
This is the monthly right here. I'll go to the daily.
Well, I mean, go back to the monthly.
Okay.
So but your expectations, because that's a daily imbalance, I believe you have marked up on the monthly, right? That imbalance right there, that's the daily imbalance.
I think so, yeah. Let's see. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. So that's where you're expecting your sale to take place from.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It was an area of interest for me for sure. I was like, okay, because I was thinking, all right, like you said, not going to jump in anything to see. I was trying to see where it can go. Like, I think it was like 150 pips up to that inbound.
Which is perfect, I think, but because it's not like GU has to move more than 150 pips. So I would think that you're going to pull back first, right? To that zone you have marked up.
Mm-hmm.
And it might take 2 days to get to that other zone from pullback.
Okay. I was thinking the same too. I think another thing I see what I was doing wrong with these two was that I wasn't going back far enough right here on the charts, like looking at this, you know? Like because I'm like, oh, I don't see anything like my no here. Like I'm curious, I don't see anything above it. But then when I look here, I'm like, wait a minute, there's a lot of information. And I don't know. I went through like all of these last night and probably was a little out of it, but okay. So those are my questions on those though. But I think I see for sure, like, all right, go back, look further, pull my chart out a bit, see the big picture, you know?
Yeah, and I just think that if you have your stuff marked up like the way you have it marked up, you just allow the time to go through your stuff. If I'm just looking at this chart, I would think, to Monday we'll pull down into that imbalance and then push up to the other imbalance. In my mind, that might be a 2-day move. Maybe it takes 12 hours to happen. But as long as it respects those areas, it is what it is. Or what if it goes up first to that zone, then it comes down to your zone, and then it goes back up to that zone, right? To take out the high, just within that zone. There's nothing wrong with either of those scenarios.
Yeah.
But
So
a lot
you
of
kind
times
of
as traders, we psych ourselves into thinking it has to happen one way. Or it has to happen fast.
yeah. Okay. Then I gotta go to my notes. Okay, let me see what I said in the group. I can't remember which one I chose. I know I said I like GN, and I think it was like EA a lot.
What's the draw on GN? Why do you like GN?
Let me see. Go to it.
GN was my choice too. I thought the chart looked pretty clear.
Couldn't have did this on the 1 month. I sworn I did this on the 3.
That's my only question. I just want to
You said
see where y'all hit. It's nothing wrong with y'all choose. I just want to know, can you talk me through it?
yeah. I'm gonna just refib this real quick, Ty, because I could have sworn I did this on the 3-month. Nope. Okay. Did it on the bond. My bad. You clearly said do it on there. All right. So should I just go ahead? Well, I guess this is a perfect
No, look, y'all.
this is
Hey,
this is a perfect
look, I don't want y'all to get discouraged or squirmy. This is not what this is about. I want to know what you're seeing. Like talk me through how you got your analysis.
Okay, perfect. So this is a perfect opportunity. Can I go through the 1 month and then go?
Yeah. I mean, do it how you do it.
Okay, perfect. All right. So I fibbed that on the 1 month. I found that imbalance up there. Then I went 2 time frames down, went to the daily. See what this is. I think this was the imbalance on the 4-hour time frame. So almost kind of similar to the last chart we was looking at. I wanted to see it go up to the 4-hour. I mean, to that imbalance on the 4-hour. And I was thinking that, okay, because it didn't have too much to go to. Sorry.
Dylan, do you have kids?
Yeah, I got a son. He's not a kid
Well,
anymore.
I know he's grown, but okay. You ever gave a kid like a steak?
Yeah.
He take 3 or 4 bites and he say he's done and it's all that meat is on the bone.
Uh-huh.
That's what I feel like when I look at your chart. Go back go back to the daily, please.
Okay. I like that.
Okay. Well, I mean, ain't that a chalk on the daily chart?
Yeah, right here.
Yeah, it broke that low. Y'all don't see that as a chalk?
I do.
At any rate, right here was a low. It pulled back and created a new high. Is that correct?
Correct. Yep.
Then we came right down and broke that low. Price traded right back into your imbalance. It has to at least go to equal lows. More importantly, you see that big imbalance where we broke structure?
Yeah. Okay.
There's another imbalance down here. Like how many pips do you have on this trade right here on your trade setup?
So this is like 200. So what I do, kind of like you told me from the beginning, I choose my best setups from what can give me the most money coming back down. I think this is like 175, but I think EA was like 220 something. EU was like 2.
Well, this is more than what you giving it because you could at least trade it to these lows. Smart money smart money. Wow.
I was thinking in around like 100 pips. Like, all right,
I get it. Our strategy, you get 100 pips and you wait for the next week. Okay. But the trade setup, this trade setup, if you extend this down, maybe the first week you get your 100 pips and you get out and it pulls back, it pulls back the next week and you can re-enter it.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
Is nothing wrong with you find I like this trade setup. I do. And I wanted you to be able to talk me through it, which is cool. There's nothing wrong with the way you explained it.
Throw the fib on there.
Huh?
Throw the fib from the top to the bottom. See where that -27 go.
So you want me to throw it from like here?
Yeah.
And then all the way. Oh shoot. You need me to do that. Let's see. Okay.
Look where the -27 at.
Down here. And the -27 is cool, but structure wise, you can see where your breaks the structure that have the imbalances are. Right. So even if you're just trading this, because this is a counter trend trade, this is a bullish 3-month candle. If you're thinking about this big picture, and we know that this is a bullish market, the liquidity is below these lows. There's a break of structure right here. So even if you don't want to hold it to this -27, your liquidity is going to come from this area. So you can trade the price down to this area. Maybe it bounces from this area and creates a new high.
Okay.
I always like to look and see on the daily where your break of structure was. Is it an imbalance? Yeah. So I like to see price come down to that break and go higher.
Okay. You're looking for a price to, you said, just come down here, at least like tap into this imbalance.
Yeah,
and then
and go higher because it's bullish. So if I'm participating in this counter trend trade, I have confidence I can trade this right there. If it goes further down, it's gonna go without me.
Okay. Why is it that, let me expose myself here. Why is it that you want to see it go into that break of structure?
Can you go to YouTube on your computer?
Yes. Okay. I still got you, Todd?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. What would you like me to?
Well, you sharing your screen, but we don't see YouTube.
Oh, yeah, I'm sharing on my screen. Oh, you know what? It's probably
Just use the same screen that you have this on. Just
screen sharing is paused. I didn't even post that. Let me see.
because you switched out of the screen.
Oh, okay.
We still see your chart.
Got you. Jesus. Let me get back. See if it works now. How about now?
We still see it. I still see your chart.
Okay. I think I may have to go back here.
Here, I'll share my screen.
Okay.
Let me go to. I'm hoping y'all get tired of this one day, because I think that
Slide 3.
Yeah, slide 3. What is it?
I'm back in Alabama. I had no choice.
Characteristic that all of you are going to have to. Of it. Okay. I don't think any of you are going to have this.
Okay, so if we just look at this at the chart, right? I really want you to listen to this 52-minute presentation by this dude. But if you're just looking at the chart, and mind you, this is a 2-minute chart. It's not a daily chart or whatever. But if you're paying attention, and we can start way back over here where price is here and it pushed down. We came right back up to this imbalance, pushed down further. Now we didn't break this low. This is a failed low, but when this price pushed up, it left the imbalance. We traded right back into that imbalance. We pushed up. We broke structure here. That's where the market traded back to. Then we pushed up. All right, when you come back down, this pushed down. We took the liquidity. This is internal liquidity, and we pushed up. Where did we come back to? This imbalance. So all over the charts. Now he picks his lecture up on this up leg. This is where ICT is going to talk about this slide, and he points out this high as a swing high, right? When price trades up and goes above this swing high, right? This move right here creates the imbalance where we broke this structure. That's where the market trades down into that imbalance at that break of structure. Then the market pushes up, you get a break of structure. That's where your price comes back to. Then you go up. Every time you get a break, they trade back in there. They trade back into that break of structure leg. So on your daily, when you see that break of structure, you want to see market trade back into that level. You get this break of structure over here. The market trades all the way away. Where does it come back to? Right at that break of structure, right in there, right? That imbalance. Market comes all the way back, trades right in there. So if you're looking for your trades and you see where that break of structure happened, that market is going to trade back into that break. That's why I'm only interested in trading it to that break of structure. I'm not trying to get it to fill it. You know, I want to, like in this case where I got that break right there, I'd have had my TP
skill set to do that.
I'd have had my TP right here, not down here, right here, and it traded right. Boom. You would have TP'd.
Okay.
Well, we broke this structure right here. You got that imbalance. We TP'd. It traded right into the imbalance. This is a lower move, but imagine if this was a daily chart and you get 3 daily candles. You want a TP at the beginning of your imbalance because this is just a pullback. You got to treat that as a pullback, and then we're going higher. You don't want it to hit your imbalance and take off, and you got your TP at the bottom, because it might not go all the way to the bottom like this particular one did. It might just hit it and keep rolling out. Does that make sense?
Total sense.
So on your chart setup, if you pull your chart back out, you reshare your screen. Where is your break of structure? You have it marked.
Yeah, right here.
Exactly. So where is the imbalance? Right there. So when this price comes down, for me, I'm good with that. Hey, how many pips is that? Perfect. I'll take it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm so mad because I have my notes on this. This was like week 2 when we first started doing the one-on-ones. Like,
Yeah, I know. Listen, I'm just giving it to you the way I received it. I watched them slides. You know, I mean, everybody has to watch the information. I'm not trying to give you what I think. I'm just giving you how he laid it out. Now, if you want to get in here and you want to trade it down to this break, you know, all that, to me, that's, you know, you do what you feel comfortable doing, you know. But every one of those pullbacks went into the imbalance, and he got paid on every one of them. So whenever I take my trades, that's exactly how I line it up. And in this trade setup you have, it's 455 pips. To me, everything is very clear chalk. We very clearly broke that level. We very clearly pulled back. We pulled back 78%. You could have already been in this trade based on that click right there. You could have put your stop above this candle. You could have been in that trade in the sale. Now, I'm not in the sale either, but my point is the trade setup is solid. But you were going to TP this trade before it even got started. And I was just curious, like what made you do that? That's all I was trying to say.
No, I really appreciate that. Thank you, because it's one of those things like where once you see it or you go through it, it sticks with you. Like this is definitely gonna stick, not get lost in the sauce. And I guess I was thinking, okay, get to 100, get out. It looks dear, but learning my lesson now of, like I said, going back, looking at the chalk, looking at the breaker structure, everything, all that information on the left, and seeing like, okay, so going forward, when I do my analysis, I can say like confidently, all right, this is where I will take my put my TP1 at, my TP2, whatnot,
Yeah, I get it. Do y'all know why I'm stuck on the 100 thing? Do y'all understand why I say look for 100 pips?
Because you can flip your account with 100 pips.
Yeah, or with the way I did it, yeah. I use $1 per pip, and 100 pips, will flip my account. But more importantly, I think that if you trade with a specific goal in mind, you will grow your account because you have a target, right? This trade is going 455 pips. It might take 2 weeks to get there. And what I found is people who hate pullbacks or people who trade their P&L are going to see, oh man, I was up $500 and now it pulled back. I'm only up $155. Let me take my profit. That to me is criminal, because if you're looking at the chart, you're going to get a push down, you're going to get a pullback. How far it pulls back, who knows? And then you're going to get another push down. You might get another pullback, and then you get another push down. If I was confident that everybody could hold a 455 trade, then we just take one trade and we let it hit TP. It might take 3 weeks. It might take a month. It might take 2 days. But generally speaking, if you can see a 100 pip move every week and you get your 100 pips and you close your trade out, your account has grown. Past tense, it's grown. And then the next week, you can find a new opportunity. There's nothing wrong with trading either way, but what I have found is if you collect your money and wait till the next week, you're guaranteed to grow your account. And if you ever find yourself bored, and you have to be bored, and you go back and you listen to the ICT WENT series or ENDS, ENDS, ICT ENDS series, where he proposes that you get 20 pips a month and you become a millionaire in 10 years. If we leave it to ourselves as traders, you're going to trade yourself until you run out of money because you don't have an off switch. You might win more trades than you lose. Eventually, if you don't have a structured plan or a target, you're going to eventually trade all that money out, trade it away. With 100 pips is designed to do is get you to hit your target and get out of the market. Look for a new setup. And because we can trade the weekly candle, every week we should get a fresh setup that'll give us a fresh opportunity to get 100 pips. Most of the time when we take these trades, y'all see it's more than 100 pips. It goes 200, it goes 250. We don't have to get all of those pips. You can get 100 pips and flip your account. Or maybe a week you get 200 pips. you still close the trade and wait and wait to the next week because that money is in your account. So these setups on these higher time frames are always going to show you a crazy amount of pips. Now this gives you the ability to trade that direction based on the weekly candle. So if you're in here next week and this thing starts selling and you collect 200 pips, you'll close out, right? The next week, it might pull back on you. And then the following week, it might sell. And now you have a bearish weekly order block within your tool here. You say, well, I know how to trade that bearish weekly order block. It's going to buy up, and then I can catch another sell position on the rest of the way down. So you might be able to get 2 different entries in here on this 455 pip drop, and you might collect, 300 pips of that. Somebody like me might get in here and just let it ride because my account is a lot bigger. And I don't feel like I need to get paid every week or every 2 weeks. I can just let it ride. When it pulls back, I can get a second entry. And I can have 2 of these that ride, for a month. But as a person who's growing their account, collect your pips to flip your account because your goal is to get a big account. Once you get your account to whatever size you need it, that might be 20K. You might just need 20K to live in Brazil. So now you have a 20K account. You might be able to put 1 lot on this trade and wait for it to hit your 455 pips, and that's $4,000. You don't care if it takes a month because it don't take $4,000 to live in Brazil. Or you could trade 2 lots on here and you get $8,000 whenever it hits. That might be your strategy. So you want to highlight the entire trade. The way you go about trading it over time is going to change. Right now, we do the 100 pips. And, I'll call the trade. We get in the trade. We get our 100 pips. Get out the trade. Don't be greedy and try to get, 300 pips because we have it highlighted that it's going 300 pips. Get your money, get out of the trade, and wait for the next week to grow your account. Once your account is at its level, now by you encompassing the whole trade, now you're saying, okay, I'm not going to get 100 pips and get it. I'm just going to sit in this trade until it hits TP. Does that make sense?
Yep. I just got to say too, Todd, 20 grand is 110K out here.
Exactly.
I won't even pay for the rest of the year.
Right. Hey, I'll be right with you tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll be living the same life.
Hey. Okay. Yeah, thank you for that, Todd. I learned a lot with these.
For sure. I want to encourage everybody to go through that series, man. Go through the ICT. If you're trying to trade the way I trade, I'm getting the information straight from that guy. He's dry, but that's exactly where I'm getting it from. And I'm a firm believer when you get chalk, especially on a daily time frame, you can trade with it. So if it's ever close, guys, that line chart is to me the standard. Men lie, women lie, charts don't. The chart is going to give it to you straight. And if there's confusion, throw the line chart on. It's going to take the wicks away. It's going to show you where the computer says the lows are. And if you go with those lows, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be on the right side of the trade. But even if you're confused about the GC trade, to me, this is a very clear chalk. Would y'all agree?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
and it's okay for us to disagree. Like everybody, there's two sides to every trade, you know. I might not see it the same way that Dylan sees it or Andrew sees it or whoever, and that's okay. The important thing is you pick a pair that you see clearly. I don't have to see it the same way, but when you see it, that's when you put your money on the line. And all I'm trying to say in this particular case, this is a great trade setup, and I'm glad you used this one, even though it didn't have a order block, because to me everything is clear in this. I just wanted you to take advantage of the entire setup.
I appreciate that. It's like beautiful now, walking away from it.
Hey, tell is Sham on the call? Sham.
Yes.
Yes. You know, that USD Mexican trade ain't gonna happen.
Yes, my alerts have been going off. I keep setting them.
Yeah, they happen. So, and I had a feeling that it was gonna turn out like that. That's why I was waiting for the end of the 3 month. But these tariffs is tearing it up.
Right, yeah, I'm looking at it now. I see that it's about to hit my next alert.
I think the prices just keep going up.
So not even sell, just keep buying.
Well, yeah. If you look at the three, can you pull up USD MXN?
Mm-hmm. Hey, where do you
Just click on the screen and type USD MXN.
today years old? Just learned that.
And yeah.
All right.
So this is a 3 month chart, right?
Mm-hmm.
All that is a pullback candle. That's not a bearish order block. So it's a higher likelihood that price is just going to go higher. What I wanted or what I thought would happen was this would be a bearish order block, and now we can start trading down, but it's not. So price is going to keep going higher.
Did it come back 50%?
Well, I don't know. Can you feel it from the top to the bottom?
Mm-hmm.
No, like you got to squeeze it back in.
Oh,
from the top of that wick.
Way up here?
Yeah, the top of that wick. Oh, come on, buddy. Oh. All right, it tapped right into the zone. But you know, to me, the next opportunity is probably at that 62, you know, I would think. Mark your 78.
Mm-hmm.
And now drop down to like the 2-week chart. We still getting wicks. Oh, there's a bearish 2-week order block right there. And there's an imbalance above that, in between your 78 and in between your 78 and 62. Yep. So maybe that's where price will end up going. There's trend line liquidity before you even get to it. You see that where you can lay a trend across the top of those candles.
Oh, okay. It's trend line? Yeah.
Yes, I would think that it would probably go up to that area.
Well, right there, Todd, or no?
Yeah, but the
Or just
liquidity
hold.
the liquidity would be in running through that trend. You know what I'm saying? Like price running that trend into that imbalance. So if if you have that trend line, like price comes up to that line and sells, price comes up to that line and sells. There are people, I guess maybe institutions that have stop losses above those highs. So when price runs up here into that imbalance, it will run the highs of all these areas. So, I would guess that price is going to go higher. The attraction to sell to short USD MXN is the fact that you're going to get paid the daily swap every day, to include making money on the way down. So I'm just waiting for it to finish buying before it starts selling. And obviously that's not going to be anytime soon. So I'll just wait. If I were y'all, I would put my alerts at these areas. Like maybe at the 62 and then at these highs, if you're using those alerts. Because until then, I'm not looking at this. This is an exotic, so it's a little bit more expensive to trade. All right, anybody got anything else?
You want me to give you back the screen, Todd?
Sure, or somebody, does anybody else want to mark their chart? Anyone? Bueller? Okay, everybody got their stuff marked up. All right, guys, I appreciate it.
Thank you, Todd. Appreciate that. I learned a lot.
For sure. I'll be hitting them friendly skies. I'll be doing my Tuesday call from Colombia.
We shoot.
Have a safe trip. Thank you, Todd.
Yes, ma'am.
Safe travels, bon voyage.
Yeah, thanks, Todd.
Dylan, we'll be linking up pretty soon, bro.
Yeah, I can't wait. Oh
Yeah.
man. Telling you, be the 6-footers out there.
Oh, in Colombia, yeah.
Yeah. I was at week 40 and 50. Like, oh, you play basketball? Bascachi? No.
Yeah, I ain't played basketball so many years, man. My coordination ain't there.
Man, and with these new moves that these young boys doing and stuff,
man.
I'm not tearing up an ACL, MPL.
Yeah, tearing up my ankles. Yeah, man, they can have it. I don't even try to get out there with them dudes, man.
Same here. Unless we playing horse, you ain't catching me out there.
Exactly.
Get it. Shoot.
All right, y'all. We should have a very good week next week. I think from what I see, I think everybody's on the same sheet.
Yes, sir. See y'all next week.
All right, y'all. Y'all have a good one.
See you.
Thank you.